This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News, news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
So We All Be is honored to have on the one and only Baba Dick Gregory back with us once again to drop that information. How you doing today, sir?
Good. Happy holiday to you and the family and all the listeners.
That's excellent. So great. And also, I had looked up the guy you told me to look up last time, the guy that was involved in the AIDS cure, the brother from San Diego. I didn't know he passed away by almost 5 years ago. But his name is... Yes, sir.
Passed away.
I mean, as it was said, quote unquote, they say he died from acute E. coli poisoning. Back on June, E. coli poisoning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, at least he got half of it poisoned.
Yeah, his name was Dr. Boyd E. Graves. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating reading. I didn't know he did. I mean, I think I had an email from him some years ago. I'm not mistaken, but it's amazing that you read this stuff.
You have the number of that patent?
Yes, sir. I actually just looked it up. It's a patent number. I believe it's he wrote a...
are we on the air?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, well, let's give it to the folks so they'll know. First, let's go over. Let's say what this is about.
Yes, sir.
It's a black man in San Diego found a cure for HIV and AIDS. And he got a patent on it. And way back then, I had people calling the patent office asking for the number, and they'd give it to them. So you have to know that this country do things that would make Hitler blush. And if you want to know how Hitler got started, just think about what you're doing now.
Yes, sir.
And Hitler didn't have radio shows like you have here now. NBC and CBS is part of the Nazi thing. And every now and then, they got to break a story so all you old fools will trust them. And I say that because I used to be the same way. You got to question. Well, it's too late now. They are gone beyond the point of no return. So just enjoy yourself, because recess is over. And so this man is telling them about the brother that invented a cure for AIDS and HIV. And you had the patent number, right?
Yes, sir. The U.S. patent number is 5676977. And I'll repeat it once again. It's 5676977. And it's right in their archive, in their database. You can just look it up.
Now, let me say this. Case Western Institute in Cleveland invented. And we went to court. Some kind of way, the president of Case Western Institute in Cleveland thought he was bigger than the government. And the federal judge told him to release the information to me. And he was crazy. So then the government took over and said, I guess you don't know who we are. You better have that by this evening or all hell gonna break loose. And I had it. That it was invented, Case Western Institute. And from there, it went to Cleveland General Hospital, which is the largest hospital facility in America now. And then, now this, I'm just speculating. It's true. Dothan, Alabama, make 98% of the condoms. And I'm sure they put them in the condoms. So when you all ran to have protection, you was getting it. The gays use KY jelly. I'm sure they put in that. You see, it's horrible when somebody's killed and me and you did it, and we're leading the posse and putting up the reward.
Wow.
But why wouldn't people fuss us? Huh? The FBI, Hitler and them Nazis could take lessons from them. But that's what happens when you get hooked in something other than the universal God. The one that made us. The Catholic Church can't make an eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
The Baptist Church can't make a kneecap. And all that crap you reading, our Father. Well, who told you that the person that put this universe together is a man? I'm sure it didn't yell down and say, hey, y'all, I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you stop and think about, you know, where we are, this planet's been here trillions of years. Trees been here. So sometimes you need to go sit under a tree, something that's been here that long, and talks. You just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at America, look at the incident in Chicago. It was two. I'm talking about the one they showed us on tape.
Laquan McDonald shooting from
Yeah, but wait a minute. You got a mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, let me back up first. Let's go to Baltimore.
Okay, Freddie Gray.
Now, Freddie Gray won a police brutality case 6 months before they killed him.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
6 months before they killed him.
Mm.
Huh? So that kind of explains why he saw them cops and started running. They must have said, we're going to get you. Now, let me tell you how the case works. If you and your family is driving down the street and a wing falls off Delta Airlines and hits in front of your car, you don't get killed, but you get injured. That's a done deal.
Mm.
Any lawyer would take that case
Mm-hmm.
because they know there's going to be a settlement. And so the lawyers that took Freddie Gray's case won $50,000. Now, that means for him to win it, the mayor of Baltimore have to know, the city council have to know, a whole lot of people got to know in order to settle that case. He had to know, Freddie Gray's mother and father had to know, Freddie Gray's lawyer had to know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not listening to this show, most of you will never hear this. And so now, here's how they do it. Let's say that wing that's hitting in front of your car. Let's say y'all get $2.5 million settlement out of court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, they got to dot all the T's, all the I's, and make sure that you can't come back at them later because they forgot something. So now you won it, and then they have these companies like State Farm, and so is one of them. It's called a structured settlement. The money's there. The payout don't come until all the things is reviewed to make sure that you can come at them later.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need the money. So you get these companies like State Farm that do structured settlement. What that is, they gave him $30,000, and then the city and the state have to pay State Farm Insurance the $50,000, but they get 20 out of it.
Mm.
So the government don't know this. The FBI don't know this. Huh? The police chief don't know. Huh? And so now let's go to the day he saw these cops and he broke and run.
Mm-hmm.
When they caught him, those was white cops on bicycles. You see no black folks. White cops stomping him, carried him over to the wagon and threw him in.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you kept seeing the news, and then now here comes the black sister, prosecutor. She's out of Boston. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you heard him say, New York Times, Washington Post, NBC, oh, she's from a long line police family. Huh? Well, what kind of clue, what kind of signal you giving? Huh? Here's the woman that got the prosecutor, and we're telling y'all just to be cool. Her daddy was a cop. Her mama was a cop. His daddy was a cop. 2 brothers was cops. Huh? And then when you start looking up, I lived 40 miles outside of Boston. When you start looking it up, you find out her daddy got busted. His 2 brothers got busted. Her mama got busted for shaking down the black drug pushers in the Negro neighborhood for money. And all of them got kicked off. Mama was an alcoholic as a cop. And so when you sit and see, now let's look what happened in Baltimore. I went over to Freddie Gray's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
I told a friend of mine to pick me up at the train station because I wasn't going to drive, because I'm so sure there's going to be a ride after the funeral. No. About an hour after, because this was for the world press. And the world press did not come in to cover no ride. They came in to cover the funeral. So now the funeral's over. I have them take me back. But some people from the city, in one of the big radio announcements in the morning. And so we decided, hey, let's go to the restaurant, have lunch. So on the way there, the word comes down that somebody had let the school out an hour early. The mayor's man didn't know it. He called. Nobody knew it. School superintendent didn't know it. Now here's the weird thing. The buses got to pick the students up at 3 o'clock. They out on the parking lot at 2 o'clock. Now let me tell you, the parking lot, you heard about the shopping mall that they trashed?
Yes, sir.
Every morning, 50 buses pulled in there and let them out for school, and they walked across the street to the school. So then we got to ask, where did them bricks come from? They in school. They didn't have any book bags. So the first thing need to happen, just for safety reasons, suppose a bunch of pedophiles going to prey on some young children, kidnap them, and they call somewhere and let the school close and nobody know it. So they get out at 2 o'clock and the bus is not going to show up till 3 o'clock. And so then you saw the rides. How come you didn't see no girls? There's girls in high school. Where were they getting the bricks from? No. That night you saw the fire. Did you see the fire? The church you said was on fire?
Yes, sir.
That was not a church on fire. And that wasn't in the area where the riots were supposed to be taking place. That was cross town, a block from Johns Hopkins University. You heard the preacher said he was building a facility for elderly black folks. He was building shelters for homeless. And he's building a study facility for young black folks to come where they can get computers and have teachers there to help them. The church didn't burn. The church had gone into bankruptcy. The money for the church came from Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins put the money up. The insurance from the fire went to Johns Hopkins. So they telling the whole world that the black folks set the church on fire, and it never was a church on fire. When you looked at them cops standing out there, they had riot gear, the same type they use in the war zone. So how you gonna tell me them high school students was able to injure 18 of them and break their bones and stuff through them pads? Now, the job of the family lawyers was to go into court and demand to see the autopsies. Not the autopsies, the records of the injuries. We want to come in and we want to see the x-rays because we think you're lying. And they would have found out that there were no broken bones. So now you have to see them. And on the way back to the airport, we stop and eat. And then the riot broke out. And the world press is there. And cops wasn't shooting no guns. Rioters wasn't shooting no guns. Now the next day, you see it tied up the whole world.
Yes, sir.
Then you see the black woman come out and grab her child and beat him in the street. Had that happened a week before the riot, she'd been in jail for child abuse. But now let's stop for a minute. Oh, then the white folks put that woman on the front page of Time magazine. She was the talk of the world. I'm looking at the way she dressed. And she all dressed up like she going to a ball. Did she know she's going to have that much time on TV? Huh? Nah. You don't see her no more. Oh, then white folks found out she had 6 babies out of wedlock with 6 different men and getting a welfare check. So you ain't seen her no more. Oh, they were talking about she should be the woman of the year. Nah. Let's say you have 2 children, 16 and 17. The 17-year-old steals the car from in front of the house. But the other child tell you, you jump in your car, the pickup truck, to go find him. He just left. 2 blocks away when you make that turn, your son had lost control of that car and hit a tree. And the car is on fire. Now you angry, you going to look, why you steal my car? You don't slap him upside the head and jerk him while he's still in the car and the car's on fire.
Right.
You get him out. Well, if you looked at what they're telling us and what they showed us, she's slapping him in the middle of a ride. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you mean you don't take him home and get him away from that and then slap him upside the head? So if you look at all that mess they're showing us, it's stunts, it's tricks, huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, in comes the black prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
And we see her talking her smack. They tell us about how many in her family have been cops. You know, we find out they all got busted for shaking down the black drug dealers in the black neighborhood, taking their money.
Mm-hmm.
Mama was a cop, alcoholic. But if you're doing what they was doing, they got to be dealing drugs too. Got to be using drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody tell us this. All the papers know she's from Boston, know the family, but they don't know how the end came. Now, it makes sense when he ran, because somebody told him the police was going to get him. So, we see nothing but white cops. We find out later the one that's driving the van is a black woman cop.
Mm-hmm.
So, all over the world, all they see is these cops. Then when the black woman come in, she indicts 6 people. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
3 blacks and 3 whites, and nobody in the black neighborhood or NBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, nobody asked where those 3 black cops come from. We haven't seen them. Now, around the world, it stops being a racial incident because you got black cops and white cops.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come from? The sister didn't tell us.
Right.
The newspaper didn't tell us. So now they put the black guy on trial first. But before that, there was a young black person who trashed the police car, stood on it, kicking it. His mother recognized him from TV, so she called the police. Said, that was my son, and you don't have to come get him. He's coming to turn himself in. So they arrested him, set his bail at $100,000. If you add up the bail for all the cops, it wouldn't equal $100,000. Negroes, are you all out your mind? Black preachers, and I'm not a preacher about it, but you black preachers who's out in the street trying to combat, y'all didn't come together
Right.
to say how outrageous it was, and then put up the bail because you're respecting the community. It was $100,000, $10,000. You wouldn't have to put up nothing. They take you on your signature.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
The Nation of Islam, I'm so damn sick and tired of the Nation of Islam. Let this white racist system come get them doing a ride. Tell them about y'all be cool. But when the press is there, I never see him being interviewed on NBC or CBS. I see preachers who wasn't even there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
When is that going to stop? And so now the trial started. Black judge.
Mm-hmm.
Hung jury. And that judge didn't know that there got to be an explanation. So he did not pull the jury. He said, okay, you're dismissed. You can go home. How do this thing go, man?
Right.
And then the mayor's out there talking to the black neighborhood, said, we're not going to let happen what happened last time. We're going to protect our first responder. What are you talking about, Winch? That means you're going to shoot them in the head, you're going to kill them? I hear you say nothing about them cops. So I assumed something I heard, that they had pictures of certain people. Well, they can manufacture those.
Right.
Clinton, the most powerful man in the world, when you become president of America. Monica Lewinsky, if you punch up on well, you might already see it. You seen the picture, the one that got him in trouble, where they was in the White House lawn with this crowd of people?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that picture.
And he was hugging Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah.
If you look at that picture, everybody in that picture, hundreds of people, they got on T-shirts this summer.
Mm-hmm.
He has on a winter outfit, a navy peacoat, navy winter beret. Then you look at it, the picture was dubbed into there. You would have no idea. That's how they made Clinton behave about something when he thought he was president. He says, oh, well, let me tell you who runs this. And had he not behaved, he'd have been impeached. Impeached. First, you did an article of impeachment, then the trial. So that's what we're looking at. And so now, it'll be another trial. And why they wanted it there, because they knew how it was going to come out, and they didn't want folks to say, well, you in that rural white neighborhood, they lying. No, put it on black folks. Y'all did it. And so now, what they have to do now is find a way to commit martial law, suspend the Senate and the Congress and the Constitution. I never thought that Obama, he might not even know nothing about it, all the stuff they do with him. Martial law, and then elections canceled. See, that's what happened 3 years ago, with General Petraeus, when he got busted by his secretary. Hey, man, don't nobody care nothing about no general having sex and sex with a dog. That's what they deserve. A general ain't nothing but a legal gangster who can kill all over the world, rape all over the world, do whatever they want. Sociopath and psychopath. Now, if I would have been president and found out what I'm going to tell you now, General Petraeus got busted because they were fixing to overthrow the government. A week before the election, they was going to kill Romney. Not Obama. And rather than cancel the election, they would have pulled the Republicans from Tulsa, and Petraeus would have got the nomination. He would have been president. But what I mean by I was president, I would not be able to tell you that it was about the overthrow of the government, the military. because trillions of dollars of money invested in this country would pull out. And so that's why they had to go along with it and make like. The last time that happened, when they got ready to kill Roosevelt in Florida, in Miami. They shot at him, the bullet missed, killed the mayor of Chicago. And so what we're looking at now is the same thing. Let's go to California a week and a half ago. 14 people killed. That was a Christmas party. Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
Now, at a Christmas party, let's say your company hires 3,000 people. You have a Christmas party for them. 99% of the people brought their cell phones with them, right? How come we didn't see one picture of someone being shot? You didn't hear nobody screaming? You didn't see nobody? Huh? What is that about? And then they tell us these two young folks was inspired by, what do you call them?
ISIS.
Yeah, but what kind of Muslims they call them? Radical Muslims, right?
Okay, that's right.
Now, when my grandmother was alive, she didn't hear the word radical. She heard the word Muslim. What they fixing to do, when they figured out that the Muslim country had 2.5 billion Muslims and the average age is 17. Can you imagine 2.something billion people? And when you add all the ages together and subtract, the average age is 17. Then you figure out how many babies will a 17-year-old have in their lifetime, and how many babies is produced from that time in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, and 1,000 years. And they said, oh, wow. They will swallow up Christianity. That's what this is about. They're going to wipe Islam out. And all y'all think Allah? You watch and see. You watch and see. Okay? And that's where the hate comes from. I never had nobody call me and say, man, let's talk about them radical Muslims. Let's talk about Islam. So now a couple more big tricks. They could blow up New York City on New Year's Eve. They can blow up the Vatican. Because when you got the government doing it, how you going to catch them?
That's right.
Blow up the Vatican. Now you got 2 billion Catholics who hate Islam. They can blow up a school and burn everybody to death. Because you look at this crap, man, you think they talking about Genghis Khan. And then white supremacy, with all them planes start taking off. You think all them planes taking off with bombs? And ISIS, they don't manufacture matches.
Right.
And they can't stop him. So this is the plan. And so you go to Paris. People go to Paris, man. The only restaurant they hit was that Asian restaurant where they killed Thai. I mean, And people go all the way to Paris to get some Thai food. Huh? And what made them mad? They must have gave them some bad noodles. They didn't hit all the restaurants in Paris. There's no place that have restaurants like Paris. Not one of them was hit. The Eiffel Tower wasn't hit. All the museums, none of them was hit. Well, let's go back to that Friday and see. There was a soccer game going on.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest soccer game of the year. Of course, you had France playing Germany. 80,000 people in the stadium. And you had not just 80,000 people in the stadium. It was being televised around the world. That's almost 2-point-something billion people. So your engineers had to come in 6 months before and start putting up the cables to film this around the world.
Mm-hmm.
The game is on. So how come with all that technology, we didn't see one person get shot? We didn't hear nobody screaming. We didn't see no ambulance come and take them out. Then we found out nobody got shot in the stadium. 4 people was killed outside the stadium. Oh.
Yes, sir.
And then you go to a rock concert, 15,000 people, almost 150 guys. How you kill 150 people at a rock concert with 15,000, but only 4 people at a soccer game with 80 billion people? And they never stopped the soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
They was canceling stuff that Friday in America. People scared to go to the movies. People scared to go shopping. But there, the president of France was there. Well, I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Y'all doing the game with all them cameras? This is what this is about. And then they started telling us, the ringleader, 30 minutes after it happened, the French police stopped him. But they had no reason to suspect him or nothing, so they let him go. Come on, y'all. And so now you go back up to California. And you know this. When they interviewed the woman, first they said it was 3 white men.
Right.
They interviewed a woman standing outside the building and said, I understand you witnessed the shoot, yes. What did you think? He says, for the last week, the government and the state, they've been doing dry runs on how to protect people against terrorists. But they were using live ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard the live ammunition, I thought that was the government. How come NBC ain't told us that? Then they get away. 3 hours later, they catch him 4 blocks from where the killing started. As I heard somebody said they could have been in Mexico by then.
Right.
And then when they had the shootout, and one cop said, deputy sheriff said, we opened up the back of the car and she's dead, but she's in handcuffs. That's when the FBI hurried up and took over the case. Which means can't nobody talk. This is federal. So that's where we are. When you look at Chicago, guy's walking in the middle of the street. Bang, bang, he gets shot twice. He falls. He's not moving. He's dead. Now, we know that they settled with his family for $5 million, and they hadn't even filed a lawsuit. They haven't even filed a lawsuit. So now as we look at him laying there in the street, one cop hit him twice and then hit him 14 other times. And nobody said, when did them cops learn how to shoot so good? You mean not one bullet missed? And then we find out the gun the cop got only holds 15 bullets. Because you can't shoot me 16 times when the gun just holds 15 bullets.
Yes, sir.
If you notice him on the ground, he wasn't moving. I mean, he's dead. So if I'm dead and you still shoot me with 14 other bullets, my body still moves. His body never moved, which says he wasn't killed there. He was brought there. In the tapes they told us, they already told you they'd been doctored. Another set of tapes they picked up that night from the sandwich place. The Burger King. They brought them back that night and 37 minutes was missing. They still ain't asked where they are. FBI still ain't got involved. One set of tapes they picked up from the coffee shop, they haven't brought them back yet. Then they asked that ignorant, dumb gangster man, did he see the tapes? He said, no, he hadn't looked at them. I would have put him in jail without a trial. So just look at it and follow it. There's an article just come out how white folks with money die faster than black folks and poor white folks with no money. You can't live in a white racist system that murders people and think the universal dust is not going to catch up with it. And when you get through talking, man, punch that up.
Yes, sir.
And then punch up another article come out a couple of weeks ago that the sunflower, not sunflower, the sun, the stuff you rub on your body to keep you from getting sunburned.
It's a suntan lotion.
Suntan. They just found out that the suntan lotion on white folks' bodies have created an erosion of the coral reefs. Did you see that?
Wow.
You just punch that up. Here's why. If the little bit of suntan lotion you put on you gets in the water and starts destroying coral reefs, what do you think it's doing to you, white folks? They don't talk all that stuff out of here. Black folks, they don't like us, but they lay in the sun. No, they're not talking about a sun black. They're talking about a sun tan. It's a big difference. So that's where we are. Okay? There's something happening that they don't know about. Now, let's go to also punch up the guy who trained the military in Guantanamo, the Navy.
Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the most secret base in the world. Why would you have a secret base on enemy territory? 99% of the people work there are Cubans. What do you have in there you don't care if Castro sees it and sends it to the Russians? What's that about? I got the thing I'll find. Are you okay? I got the thing I'm gonna find where they was paying the mortgage.
Okay.
No, find it. Find it. A mortgage of the guy they accused of blowing up Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Federal building. The federal government paying his mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And so consequently what we're talking about is a big old scheme that's going to take everything down. And you Muslims that live here, go study what they did to the Japanese Americans during Pearl Harbor. They put them in internment camps. They got yours waiting. Yep. And so when you stop and look at the treatment they was doing to the prisoners in Guantanamo,
Yes, sir.
they took a Chicago cop. And he went there and designed that, and we threw they sent him back to Chicago. He been doing that to black folks for 50 years.
Right.
Making them confess to stuff they never did. And so now we go to Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the brother coming out of the cigar shop. Said he stole some cigars.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at that picture, he had on flip-flops and short pants. 15 minutes later, he laying dead outside with Nike tennis and long pants. Come on, black folks, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Americans. You can pull it up. And then also pull up the guy who owned the store. Him and his lawyer had a press conference. He was never in there, and he never called 911. Said, all you got to do is check the records.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He never come in here and stole anything. So that means that's a trick picture, him leaving out the door. His best friend that said his hands was up, remember that?
Yes, Dorian Johnson. Yeah.
Huh?
Dorian Johnson, that's his name?
Yeah, and that's going to symbol all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
All over the world. And so somewhere, when you stop and think, then 3 days later they told Johnson, FBI put him under witness protection. I said, wait, this is not a federal crime. Did you get the picture of the grand jury when they found out the person? You have that?
The picture of the grand jury?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Word for word. Well, no, you better pick it up quick.
Okay.
Because Dorian Johnson testified before the grand jury. They said he lied about his hands being up in there. Huh? Now, you got to see it. Because it's in the grand jury. You have to see it. And then that night, 200 feet from where Mr. Brown was killed, Dorian Johnson's best friend was shot down, and the way the Washington Post explained it, you would think they was talking about 1930. Lynching, how many bullets, and after they killed him, they put him in a police car and set on fire. Now, ask you this question. How many people going to go into an area where there's a press conference being held to release the results and take a gun in to kill somebody? What was it Dorian Johnson's friend knew? And so when you start looking at it, which you're not going to do, because you all messed up in the head. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about people.
Right.
So now, we go to the first one that got world attention. If it wasn't for the black press, we wouldn't have known nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about it. And so now he lays there, Mr. Brown, for 4.5 hours. You didn't see one ambulance. You didn't see one hearse. 4.5 hours. And some black car came and took the body away. We checked it. We can't find out where the black car came from.
Mm-hmm.
At all. Can't find. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? And so the FBI, that's like bringing a devil from hell that made the fire to come and help you.
Right.
And so if we go to Tavon, they said he was watching the All-Star game. That Sunday at his father's place where his father lived with his girlfriend. And during halftime, he went to the 7-Eleven to get some Skittles, of which that time I had never heard of, and some Arizona iced tea. And then I find out if you take Skittles and put in a glass and then pour Arizona iced tea, you get a drug high 3,000 times more potent than crack, cocaine, and heroin. Huh? Hello. Now, let's look at what they said. He watching the ball game at halftime. He went to 7-Eleven and bought. Well, the problem with that is he was killed at 7:17. The game didn't start till 8 o'clock. Halftime wasn't until 9:40. What's this about? And if I'm fighting you and I got a can of Arizona, how come they didn't take that as evidence? How come they didn't assume I might have hit Zimmerman with the can? Here's the critical part, Ron. If where you live, you're in a gated community, and you and I are going to do a book together, and I'm going to come and spend the holidays, you have to let the people know in that gated community, I'm coming, and if I'm driving, how I'm going to get there. And they take pictures of you, your mama, coming in or going out. How come they never showed us pictures? Of Tavon leaving and coming back. How come we didn't see Zimmerman coming back? Which means he didn't get killed there, someplace else. And somebody shut the cameras off.
Yes, sir.
And so when you look and see, and then that Monday, the police from the little city came with 3, what do they call them? The 3, the folks that do the prayer, what do they call them?
The folks that do the prayer?
Yeah, at the fairs, at jail.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about not the chaplain, but
yeah, the chaplain. They came with 3 to 5 chaplains, showed the pictures to the daddy. He identified the boy, and yet he still laid 5 more days in the morgue as a John Doe.
Wow.
As a John Doe. The family had been paid $2.5 million 6 months before the trial started. How come we didn't know that?
Yes, sir.
And so when you stop and think about where this thing is going, and I used to say to Americans, recess is over.
Mm.
Wake up and it's too late now. It's over. It's over. All you got to do now, if you look at the affair in South Carolina,
Right.
The black church. How many people know that black church is where Juneteenth was invented, celebrated on June the 15th, 16th, and 17th? How that ignorant, redneck, cracker white boy that never finished grade school knew that black folks had service on Wednesday night? How do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
He said he just wanted to kill some black folks. So why you drive 110 miles when all the people you pass, all the black churches, and if you'd have went in the black church on Sunday, you could have wiped the whole balcony up. Come on, white boy. And did you see the story that went nationally around the world on that? A woman told her 16-year-old grandson, play dead.
You mean 5-year-old grandson or?
Huh?
You said 5-year-old grandson play dead?
You told her 6-year-old.
Oh, 6-year-old. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. I heard about that.
All right. Now, the woman was killed.
Mm-hmm.
So who told the world what she said to the 6-year-old? The 6-year-old?
Okay.
6-year-old had the press conference and any day when my girl, huh? And so 9 people was killed, massacred. 9 people. You didn't see no bodies. You didn't see no ambulances. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
You didn't see none of that. You saw one funeral. That was the ministers held at a white college.
Mm-hmm.
What? It was about to be an overthrow some years ago. 2 blacks was leading it. Somebody snitched, and they got caught. They took 16 people a block from the church in the street and shot them down like they was rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
Then the state legislature passed legislation that any black church in Charleston, South Carolina, could not have service unless there was 1 or 2 white men present. And if you did, that's a felony, and everybody in the church could be arrested. Everybody in the church could be arrested. That lasted for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
50 years. The 2 ringleaders was Jim Vinci, the revolutionist, and Morris Brown. Morris Brown, they didn't shoot. He ended up with a college named after him in Atlanta. Was he the one who did the snitching?
Wow.
See how it works?
Yes, sir.
And so, when you look at it, you will see that it's all a game. All a game. I'm looking through my stuff now to find the article that never ran the American paper about the Justice Department on the 19th, that's 2 days after the incident, fast-tracked $29 million check to the families of the 9 people that was murdered. The families.
Right.
And so, not one American newspaper ran that story. Not one. Huh? We had to pull it up in the London Mail. Did you ever see that?
Yes, sir. I've seen it. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's kind of interesting that they gave the families $3.2 million apiece, and not one American newspaper ran that story. Huh?
Sure.
And so again, I'm saying, what's fixing to happen? Here it is here. U.S. to fast-track $29 million to help Charleston's shooting victim's family. The shooting was on the 17th. The 19th, the check went out. How did they write that check that quick, or was it written before it happened?
Yes, sir.
Nobody have ever read that story in American newspaper. At all. And that story is so big, and yet nobody's heard of it in American newspaper. If it wasn't for shows like this here, they still wouldn't have heard of it. I mentioned earlier about the biggest act of terrorism wasn't September the 11th. It was in Oklahoma, federal building. They blamed Terry Nichols. The paper, you can pull it up in, is the Washington Times, one of the most conservative papers in the world,
right,
in Washington, D.C. Wednesday, April the 22nd, 1998, headlines, FBI paid mortgage of Terry Nichols. The FBI made mortgage payments on Terry Nichols' home after he was arrested and before he was convicted of conspiring to bomb the Oklahoma City federal building. Court records show. Now listen what the Justice Department, a Justice Department spokeswoman said she did not know immediately why the government made the payments on Terry Nichols, or know how much. She didn't say it didn't happen. She said it happened. And you folks listening to this here, you still eating, drinking your beer. What kind of punks are y'all? The mortgage payment was disclosed in a court filing Monday by Nichols' lawyer, who argued that their client does not have sufficient assets to pay a fine or restitution to the prosecutor. Now, this is y'all, America. Now you see how Hitler made it. And so somewhere, when you put all of it together, then you see where it's going. Maybe you won't. And so I say that the mayor should be arrested in Chicago. You mean he didn't know, huh? As long as there's white folks, y'all just, even black folks, y'all just close your eyes. Thank God there is a real God. Not as a pit bull, as universal law that's already been in place. And let me tell you what you can do, especially those of y'all that think you listen to fantasy. Every day at 12 noon, join me. Your time. And say a prayer that the truth will come out. Now, what we're saying is, well, you can't play with, I don't play with the Catholic Church, Baptist Church, you can't play with the universal God. And not a long prayer, all that crap y'all be begging it for. Oh, my mortgage. You think God who put the unit didn't know your mortgage was due? So just say a simple prayer, quick. that the truth will come. Now, what am I telling you to say? I'm not telling you to find out that them white folks get it. I'm saying pray to the God that the truth come out, which means that what you hear now, if it's not true, then you're praying for the truth. What you hear now, if it is, then you pray that the truth will come out, and you'll be surprised what'll happen in a week. That's the power you have.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And so again, I say, all this is a game. And don't even worry about voting, because there'll be no. And if it is, it's because shows like this, where people wake up and then they start punching up stuff and they start seeing stuff and find out more than what I just told you.
Okay.
And so again, we're not even aware of how much we are indebted to you. There's 44,000 internet radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
People look at me on the internet every night. Woman told me, I'm about to divorce my husband. I can't get him with TV. So him looking at you, well. And so I just say thank you, man. Thank you. And see, I know you. I mean, I'm in Atlanta last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I look around here, you there. You stayed there 2 days.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to interview after me, Paul Mooney, in some kind of way they forgot. And you still there another day. Paul gone.
Mm-hmm.
People, when I hear you, that don't come through. The research you do, the way you get in your car and tape stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then run it. And so I just say to you, man, you made my life easy. My life easy. And so y'all look at Trump, you better look at more than Trump. Trump ain't nothing but an idiotic fool who ain't never had no money. Daddy, one of them Nazi-loving crackers.
Mm-hmm.
They got German blood. They changed that because they did so much, the Jewish people. And they tell them they from some other country. Ben Carson, 95% of black folks never heard of him. So where all them votes coming from? Them ignorant, redneck, religious haters that don't even know they hate. They think they're going someplace called heaven. Wherever Hitler is, that's where y'all going. Wherever Hitler is. The worst thing about being who you are, you don't even know it. You don't even know it. When you look and think about all these killings, you ain't heard them white stations mention racism yet. And so again, I just say that Ben Carson claim to fame is he separated Siamese twins from the head. That had never happened before. We've been watching this punk for 5 months. He's never mentioned the operation. Did you know that?
No, so I didn't. Wow. Okay.
No, what were you gonna say?
I thought he would mention that as a kind of achievement.
No, I didn't ask you that. I said he's never mentioned that. Not would he? I'm saying he.
Yeah, I'll say that. I agree with you on that. But I'm talking about as far as running for president, they try to mention all their accomplishments and whatnot.
No, I know.
See,
that's why people get confused. I didn't ask you that.
Yes, sir.
I asked you. He's never mentioned the operation. That's all. If you ask me, do I care for a cigarette? I say no. I didn't tell you I stopped smoking. You didn't ask that.
Yes, sir.
This is a simple thing. The people that love and trust you because of the information, I ask you a simple question so your fans could hear you. They turn on to hear you.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know you hadn't heard it. That's why I asked it for my grandmother that could be listening.
Yes, sir.
The reason I'm saying that, how come the operation never happened again?
Mm-hmm.
How come he has not been nominated, not get one, how come he's never been nominated for a Nobel Prize? I didn't say get one.
That's right.
Nominated. Huh? And so when you stop and think about it, this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
They play. And then when he called at President Obama's prayer vigil, he spoke and said Obamacare is worse than slavery. By the time he got back to Johns Hopkins, he was fired. They'd already paid him to do the commencement address. They told him, keep the check. You cannot come on this campus no more.
Mm-hmm.
Johns Hopkins get more research money from the federal government than any school on the planet gets from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they need to put a Negro in the race so people like you and me can't say the Republicans haven't got no black person even running. Now, if he don't win, then we can't complain. But he was in. He was in. Right. And so somewhere, when you stop and think about, this is very interesting. I ran for president in 1964. November the 4th. This story came out 4 days later.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What paper? The Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal, November the 7th, 1968. Election computers, Google, gives Gregory 9 million votes. Then when you read it, you see that they gave me 9 million votes in the state of Pennsylvania. They had to turn all the machines off. All the machines off because they kept saying, Dick Gregory, projected President of the United States. And they go ahead and run the whole story. And then towards the end, they say CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite, after this error was pointed out to him, that he criticized that. They said, no, that was good information. They meant to hook up the machines that everybody voted for me. It would go to Nixon. Mm-hmm. They do it every election, y'all. 9 million votes I got from the state of Pennsylvania, and it jammed the machines. All that multi-billions of dollars they spent. Machine shut down. Because it was said that Gregory was the projected president of the United States. The land of the free and home of the brave. You never the fool. All the people we kill and murder all over the world. ISIS is us. Are you telling me all these white countries that got a major air force been bombing over there? Why don't they hit the oil installations? Why don't they hit the pipes that the oil's coming out of? What's this about? So again, I just say that, man, you make me happy, and all of you all who out here, because your life gets changed. I'm at a meeting now. When I leave this meeting, you know what I have to do? Go to the parking lot, and the first thing I do is check the back of my car to see if my license plate is there.
Yes, sir.
And I'm saying you start doing the same thing. Because that gives them a right to pull you over for probable cause. And then they say you said something to the cops and called them something. They put you in the paddy wagon, you was fighting and kicking, now you dead. Who wouldn't believe it except us who know you?
Yes, sir.
Okay? You got to do everything you can to stay alive, to keep giving us this service.
Bob Gregory, I want to tell you something that you told me some years ago about the hotel situation. I had about a month or so ago checked into a hotel, and I always check. I make sure everything is in place. Like I look at the closets and everything. I check under the bed. And then they called me like a day later and said I left some stuff behind, some women's stuff behind.
Yep.
I didn't have no women in my hotel room. I didn't leave nothing behind. So I went back to the hotel, right, and I asked her what did I leave behind. I don't think I'm missing anything. She said, okay, don't worry about it. If you didn't leave behind, don't worry about it. She never told me what was left behind.
So you know why you have to worry about it?
What? Tell me.
How long ago was that to happen?
Yeah, back in October.
Okay, now, let's say they find a woman dead.
Okay.
With your card in her purse and some love letters from you.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can blame you for the crime, and in the investigation, they do the same thing they did in California. They keep finding stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then they find somebody at the hotel and show the picture. Oh, yeah, he comes in here all the time with her.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get here, one of the known drug pushers in the area comes in and blames something. See how they do it?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me tell you this story. I check in a hotel in Detroit. I'm doing an 8 speech for I think of the name, Black group. So I leave, and it's hot that day, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the waterfront, and my underwear get wet. So the woman said, 7-day event.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we left this part open 4 to 8 because we got the 8 o'clock speech which is open to the public. He said, we want to take you out. I said, oh, no. Let me just go back to the hotel and take a shower. That's how the universe works.
Mm-hmm.
I go back over there, soaking wet, suit coat wet. Opened up my closet door, there's a pair of women's panties and women's shoes. Now, I didn't know if they were there when I checked in, if they were there when I left, or if the maid found them and set them there and forgot to take them with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I called downstairs and said, would you send a manager up here? It's very important. And would you give me the number for the Detroit police? They said, oh, no, we can call. No, I won't call. So I called them. 2 weeks, of course. They found something in my room. You also come and see. So now, black manager comes up, and I tell him. And he said, okay, just a minute. And he came back. He had a little thing like a woman's purse with a shoulder strap and a computer. I said, what's that? He said, we checking this door, and we can see exactly what time somebody came in. He said, you checked in last night at 11:40. You left this morning at 6:45. The maid came in at 10:12. You went out at 10:15. Oh, here it is here. Somebody came in here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how you know? He said, this is not one of our keys. Now, suppose I hadn't came back. The next morning, you wake up at 4 o'clock and the big news is Gregory arrested for raping a woman and beating her up. And you see this woman all swollen.
Right.
Anytime you turn on the news at 4 o'clock and NBC and CBS was there, you damn they can't get them at noon. Where did they get them at 4 in the morning?
Right.
So then you see her talking. How long we were lovers, how long we were using cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Then I come out of jail and you see me say, I never met her. I don't even know who they're talking about. I don't know who it is for them or not. And then they go back and they talk to Doris Then he said, oh, they come in here in the last 12 years. I guess we've seen them, 16, 17 times. And one of the door people know her friend. They deal in cocaine all the time. Now, let's stop there. I just told the world I never met her. Now, let's go back 3 years from that. And a white guy come up to me and said, I heard your speech. Oh, my God. I got 50 companies I'm about to lose because the government said that I'm not handling diversity. And after he and you talk, I'd like to bring you to my 50 companies to speak, and you just give me a price. He said, but I'm tired now. I got a early meeting, and I'd like to meet you for lunch, for breakfast. Yep, okay. So he calls me. I go down. He's sitting at the bar, wait to be seated, or you sit at the breakfast bar. I go over and tell me again how much. And I'm willing to pay you $50,000 for each one of my company dates. But one of the dates I can't use, my son's getting married. So let me go to the car and get my briefcase. So there's a white woman sitting next to me, and she said, you are the real Dick Gregory. Yes, I am. And she throws her arms up and hugs and kisses and says, my father loves you. That's the woman they're going to use to convince the world. Mm-hmm. 3 years before the incident happened. So I'm told the world I don't know her, and y'all see pictures of her. That's how it works, man. It's the government. This is the government. Oh, they can find her dead, and then it leads back to me. Right. That's what we just finished looking at in California. That husband and wife ain't on a damn thing. Who's telling us that? The FBI. Mm-hmm. If the FBI went to hell early, the devil would run. That's right. And so that's what you're up against. They killed one of my researchers and thought they was killing me. Mm-hmm. That's the price you pay, man. That's the price you pay. And then they'll have people calling into your show who's agents, tricking. You have cab drivers saying, oh, I saw when the thing hit the Pentagon. No, those are agents, huh? Mm-hmm. And so you just into your prayer. You can't pray twice for the same thing. You have that universal God for protection, and from that point on, you're in a prayer of thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So, you got any more questions you want to ask me before I explain Christmas to you? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I also want to bring up, I know you probably heard about this with Donald Trump's father. They claimed that he was involved with Donald Trump's father, that he was a Klansman, that he was involved in a big brawl in Queens back in June of 27. The New York Times has an article about it and was reported in the Daily Mirror.
Was in Queens, New York?
Yes, sir, back in 1927. He was arrested by the police. Like it says, basically, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Like it said, June 1927, New York Times account of aftermath of Memorial Day anti-Catholic riot by KKK has emerged. It lists 7 men arrested during the free-for-all battle in Jamaica, Queens, New York, and includes Fred Trump, who was later discharged. And it said that the KKK action was targeted at Roman Catholic police and saw 1,000 Klansmen taken on by 100 NYPD officers. Mm-hmm. So have you heard about that?
No.
Now, he said it never happened. Trump said it never happened.
Trump said it never happened.
He said it never happened. It was 1927. It was in the New York Times, 1927.
How old he must have been when he was 27?
Yes, sir.
How do you know? So no, I hadn't heard about it. People send me a lot of stuff, and if it's not somebody I know, then I just hold it till I get time to read through it. No, I didn't know. But Trump never owned None of them casinos. That was drug money and mob money. They laundered through that.
Mm-hmm.
All of them Trump towers. Look up the one where he got busted because in the contract of his towers, it cannot be rented to a Negro.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one in Florida.
That's it.
And they settled out of court. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was like, what was your take on the black pastors meeting with Trump? What's your take on that?
The black who?
The black pastors, the 100 black preachers that met with Trump.
You're a little young, but let me just show you this.
Mm-hmm.
King was at the National Baptist Convention.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Kansas City, y'all. The preacher shot at him.
Mm-hmm.
So group of preachers been doing that. But you got this other group that would march with him knowing they could be killed.
Mm-hmm.
You got the church as always, some of the biggest wars you ever had. The church.
Mm-hmm.
What's worse than that? This for 1,000 years, the priest been ripping off little boys' booty.
Right.
And it's been covered up. So, I mean, it's almost not even worth mentioning if you look at the record they have.
Right.
Huh? And so, again, I'm saying, you got them black preachers, every time there's an incident,
Mm-hmm.
they want to get a black preacher to talk, just like they do that Negro sheriff out of Wisconsin.
Right.
I mean, you live there and you think that's the Klan talking in blackface.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they're so filthy. Think about what their children go through when they go to school and heard what that ignorant, ungodly pimp cop says.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works. So I wasn't surprised. I wonder why it wasn't more.
Right.
Do you know they met with him after Trump said 81% of white folks get killed in America is by black folks.
Mm.
And they had to come and correct that, and nobody in the press have asked him about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. Well, before I get out of here, let me explain what's fixing to happen, okay?
Yes, sir.
Christmas. You heard of a guy called Jolly Old Saint Nick?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you ever do research and find out who he is, he was Mr. Nicholas, one of the richest men in the world, in Europe, in every holiday festivity. He would give all his wealth away. Not part of it, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was made a saint. You got popes ain't never been made saints.
Wow.
That was Mr. Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus. That's a chimney sweeper in Europe. When they have houses, there was no coal or gasoline or fuel. You burnt trees, and it left soot, so they would go up down the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
Clean the soot. Santa comes to the chimney and leaves gifts for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go back to Good Friday. And then you look up Christmas. You look up when Christ was killed. Easter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easter. Killed Easter. You know, some years Easter come in March, some years it come in April, huh?
Right.
You can't be killed in 2 different months. Easter is the first Sunday after the first new moon, after the first full moon, after the spring equinox. That's why it differs from one year to another. Now you kill my Christ, and that's Friday, and tell me you call it a good day. I call it a good Friday. Why is it a good day? Because if you take your birthday and count 270 days back, you'll know the day your mother conceived you. How many days did I say? 201?
200 and I clicked
70.
270. Okay.
Okay, now add that across 2 plus 7 is what?
9.
And plus 0 is what?
9.
Okay, that's why they call it 9 months pregnancy.
Wow, okay.
270 days from October the 12th, I can go back and find out the day my mother conceived me.
Yes, sir.
So now, the reason they call it Good Friday, because 270 days after Good Friday, Christ was killed. Killed. So now, let's go back now to Christmas. On December the 21st, the sun stops. They say it dies for 3 days.
Okay.
In the old days, if you went by somebody's house and you saw a wreath on the door, you know that meant there's been a death in the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the wreath is for Christmas. You put it on the door at midnight the 21st, and then he comes back on December the 25th. So midnight to 24th, let's count 3 days. Midnight to 24th, 1 day. Midnight to 23rd, 2 days. Midnight to 24th, 3 days. 1/10 of a second after midnight to 24th, the son is born. Okay? They said on Christmas Day the son is born. And when it comes through the chimney, that soft spot in the back of your head is called the chimney. Something happens that day to you, to all of us. In Europe, have you ever heard the word Boxing Day?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the day that you deliver the gift. On December the 25th, you fast all day, you don't talk, you don't read, you just lay still and quiet. Like I'm having an operation, they put me to sleep so I can lay still. And so that Christmas Day, all kind of things. The pagans, on midnight to 24th, they decorated the trees because they knew the sun was going to come back. The son is born. Ain't that what they tell you on Christmas Day? The son is born. No, the son is born. December 25th. And so, good things happen. And so they take that whole parable of the planets and make a story out of it that benefits them. Easter, how much money you spend on Easter because of that equinox? How much money you spend on Christmas because of the equinox? And then Jesus disappeared. In the Christian Bible, they say Jesus was born from a woman named Mary. She was 13 years old when God impregnated her with the Jesus boy. 13. Well, you don't want to talk about children having children. She was 13. And the universal thought put that in her belly. What y'all talking about? And then for the first 12 years of his life, he was with Mary. Then he disappeared. There's nothing in the Bible that shows you where Mary was looking for him. He comes back at 30, dead at 33. You don't see nothing in the Bible which says, where have you been? Oh, thank God. There's nothing in there. Now, if you stood up and put your finger, the tip of your butt, that's where the spine starts. For the first 12 notches in the spine is where the power is. Then it disappears. Power. And then comes back at 30. Spine. That's what the story is about. They take a story so it looks like they have power. But you don't know anything about it. That's Masonism. The highest Mason is 33rd.
Yes, sir.
The circumference of a circle is 360, right?
Yes, sir.
So that little stuff ain't number chump change. Don't give me 33. I want the full circle. That's what Christmas is about. Dude, I don't know if y'all have this in Memphis. I'd like for you to check for me.
Yes, sir.
Most of the major cities in America on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, you can go out and get drunk and drink and call a cab, and that cab got to take you home for free, or they can go to jail. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Okay.
But they don't have to do that on Christmas Day. They don't have to do that on New Year's. Ain't it called New Year's Eve party? Don't we go out and drink and have fun until 12 o'clock? Huh? Almost I can throw you off that I got you. So at 12 midnight comes the 25th. That's called Boxing Day. That's when you deliver the gift. You don't talk to the children. Nobody in that house talks. You quiet down and accept the blessing. Something comes through there that takes you back to be a child. Bring gifts for the children. That's Christmas. So try it. Try it. It's Christmas. Midnight. Don't talk. Don't say nothing. Don't wrap presents. 24 hours. On December the 26th. But you can check that and you can punch that and see how they're doing you.
Yes, sir.
But they change it. And so that's what the holiday. That's why they say Merry Christmas. I think just the Christians, that's to everybody. That same universal put all of us here. And so again, my brother, I just say thank God that we hooked up. And thank God that you were able to put out there what you put out. How many people you have made a difference to.
Yes, sir.
And so as I leave you, I just say happy holiday to you and the family. And thank you for just getting in your car and just showing up, man. Being there. NBC people, they pay their fare. Check their hotel. You have to do this on your own.
Yes, sir.
But you will be rewarded for it. Trust me.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry about your safety or nothing. Yes. Again, I thank you. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it so much. I just got one more question.
Yes.
If people are concerned about this celebrity cloning thing, is it some truth to that, like celebrity clones?
I didn't hear what you said.
Like, people talking about human cloning, like they doing a lot of celebrity cloning, like they're, creating celebrities.
And they've been doing that. Are you serious?
I just had to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that. They tell you sometimes when they slip, they say there's two presidents. Well, there's damage, we send a fake one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, they've been doing that. But what you do is look up cloning and then find out what books Amazon.com and get the books that tell you.
Yes, sir.
How long they've been cloning people. Frankenstein. He was dead when they got him out the grave, didn't it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Because the lab brought him back. And we were all scared of Frankenstein, but we didn't see Frankenstein was scared of the mad scientist.
Yes, sir.
It was the mad scientist that tell him to go. He said, no, he go. He was the one sending me killing women. He brought him back to the lab.
Right, exactly.
No, they've been doing that for so long. So long. Okay, my brother.
All right, Bob Gray. Thank you so much. We love you madly, man. Keep on doing what you're doing.
I'll hit you back for Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, baby.
All right.